Welcome back to Happiness Happens. On this podcast, we talk all things happiness and give you practical tips so that you can live a more joyful and fulfilling life. I am Simona, host of the show, and I'm so grateful to have you here with me today on this solo episode where we're going to be talking about how to change your thought pattern to a more positive mindset. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, or maybe you've been consuming content on social media, you'll know that our minds are incredibly powerful. But sometimes, and I am not an exclusion to this, let me just say, we get stuck in a negative mental loop that really honestly do bring us down. But the good news is that we don't actually have to stay stuck in this negative loop. We actually have the ability to reprogram our brains to be more optimistic and to have more constructive thinking. So, this is what I want to talk about today. So, let's get started. We have tens of thousands of thoughts every single day, and many of them are not even ones that we're fully aware of. And the reason why is because they happen on a subconscious level. So if we think about all of these different thoughts that we have every single day, if a lot of those thoughts are cynical and a lot of them are self critical or centered on the worst possible case scenario, it's going to heavily impact our mood. It's going to impact our motivation, and it really is going to impact our outlook on our lives. But just the same as we can develop bad, quote unquote, mental habits, we can also train our brains to default to a more positive, productive thought pattern. It just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of repetition, much like building any other habit that we want to create in our lives, right? So today we're going to talk about some strategies to help you actually do that. The first one is noticing your thoughts. So this is the first step. It's to become more aware of your thoughts throughout the day. Anytime you catch yourself thinking about something negative, like, I'll never get this project done, or I absolutely hate the way that I look, or I did such a bad job at this presentation, or I'm so stupid, nobody likes me, make a mental note of it. Do not judge yourself for that thought. You want to just observe it, okay? There's no sense in beating yourself up over and over and over and over and over again for having a thought that is negative. What you want to do is just notice it, capture it, observe it, and then pause. Because now that you've caught that unhelpful thought, this is number two, you get to reframe your perspective. So you can consciously reframe that thought in a more constructive way. For example, you can change, I'll never get this done, to this is challenging, but I've got this and I can take it step by step. You can also swap with, I'm so dumb or I'm stupid, with, I prepared really hard for this one particular thing. And next time I'm going to be even stronger. Next time I'm going to get it done way differently. Find whatever spin works best for you. You want to think about what is it that is going to counteract that negative thought that you just had and allow you to reframe that perspective. The third thing is something we've talked a lot about on the podcast. It's practicing gratitude. And before you hop off and you're like, this is so annoying, I've already heard this before, our brains have a built-in negativity bias that makes us dwell on unpleasant experiences or things that feel like a threat to us. Maybe it's something that someone said to you, a tone of voice that someone communicated to you in, what have you. We are naturally predispositioned to take that thought and run with it and not stop. We just continue to go and go and go and go. You can counteract this by actively making a habit of focusing on the things that you're thankful for, no matter how small those things are. It's kind of like what they say when you're in therapy about if you're really anxious. It's like the 5 things, like find something that you can see, smell, touch, taste, feel, right? It's kind of the same thing here. You notice the thought, you want to reframe it. Now you want to find gratitude about something that will bring you back into that present moment. Focusing on things that bring you gratitude will start to reshape your mind. It'll start to reshape your perspective because you're counteracting the thought that you're having with something that's even more powerful that'll bring you even more elevated in your consciousness, which honestly is so important. Number 4 is cultivating your self-compassion. We are all our worst critics. I think I am the hardest person on myself. Most days, I think I'm like the worst person in the entire world. And I know that's not true. I know it's a story that I'm just telling myself, but you have to make an effort to treat yourself with kindness. You have to give yourself the same understanding that you would give to a good friend. We all make mistakes. It's a very human thing to make mistakes, and we all fall short. And so it doesn't matter if you're making a mistake or you're falling short of a goal. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't make it worse than it needs to be. Think about how you would encourage the person that you love most in this world, which should be yourself, but that's fine. Think about how you would encourage someone else that is in the same situation as you. Cultivate that self-compassion. Find that love for yourself. Give yourself that grace. Give yourself the space to feel it and to let it go. The next thing I want to talk about is using positive affirmations. Affirmations might seem a little bit cheesy, overplayed, overdone, but they really are a proven way to shift and transform your mindset. I want you to think about a few empowering phrases that will help you in your journey. Like, I've got this. I am powerful. I am strong. I have everything it takes to succeed. One that I keep on my mirror at home in my bedroom is, I can do everything that I put my mind to. And I truly believe that. The thing is with affirmations, it's one thing to just say them, but you have to believe what you're saying. And some people will say, oh, but you can just say them until you believe them. But that doesn't always work for everyone. So I want you to actually find things that you truly believe to be true and take those and turn those into affirmations that are going to be really powerful for you. That is one way that you can start to shift your mindset. The next one, number 6, is very powerful. And this is one that I've been learning over the last year. And it's really limiting your negativity exposure. Curate what you read. Be careful of what you're watching and what you're listening to. Be aware of who is in your circle. Feel into people's energies. Does it bring you up in vibration or does it bring you down in vibration? If it brings you down in vibration, limit your time around those negative people, or limit your time around negative media that spreads cynicism and fear and bad news and creates all this chaos and all these feelings within us. You need to safeguard your mind. You need to protect yourself from all of the external influences that are coming into your own wellness bubble, if you want to call it that. You are in control of the stuff that you consume, and the stuff that we consume can either bring us up or it can bring us down. So you really want to be sure and be aware and limit that negativity exposure, because that is going to be a game changer way for you. I noticed for myself when I started putting boundaries around the amount of exposure I have to more negative people or situations or things or problems or challenges, that's when I actually started to become happier, because I wasn't worried so much about letting that person into my space, because I knew exactly what was good for me. And I want that for you as well. And the last point that I'm going to make here is countering your negative thoughts right away. As soon as that negative thought pops up in your mind, consciously dispute it and replace it with a more positive thought, a more positive alternative. The quicker that you can start to take and shut down that unhelpful thinking pattern, the better. There might be truth in it, but it's not all true. So you want to find the evidence. You want to find the truth in the negative thought. And if you can't find it, counter it right away. Remember that training your brain for optimism really takes a lot of time. It's something that I've been working on for the last probably 6 years, but it's so worthwhile, because what happens is you start to look at things from a different perspective. The things that feel hard or make you feel down or sad or whatever don't actually last as long, and you can start to bounce back even quicker. It's not about dishonoring the emotion that we're feeling. It's about taking that emotion and transmuting it into something that is going to help elevate you on an energetic level. When positive thinking becomes your default, that's when you're going to start to notice happiness and resilience and overall life satisfaction increasing. So keep at it, keep spreading your light, keep sharing your gifts with the world, and keep bringing up the vibration of the planet instead of bringing it down. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Happiness Happens. Let me know what you think of this episode. Did you like this topic? Did you like this conversation? Were we feeling it? Were we not? If you want to go even deeper, you can check out my Jumpstart Your Joy guide. It's a free guide that I have on my website, simonacostantini.com. So you can check that out there. There's a journal page that you can also fill out and you can print and you can duplicate to help you reframe that mindset, to help you find that gratitude, to help you mitigate those thoughts, to help you stop them right in their pattern. Okay. Thanks for tuning into this episode. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. And remember that happiness happens when you're least expecting it.